Hello tuning fans, I'm back today with my buddy Jacob, and I asked him if I could film his Jeep, and he said, yeah, sure, you can. Now he's cleaned it up and parked it here for me. So let's get right to it. Let's look at the Jeep Gladiator, based on a Jeep Wrangler. So let's start with a few facts and figures. The Jeep Gladiator was... I just have to wave, my buddy Adriano is driving by. Okay, let's continue. The Jeep Gladiator was first officially introduced and sold in North America actually in 2019. The unveiling was in 2018. You could pre-order it specifically as this limited edition called the Launch Edition. And then it was built. 4,190 units were available back then. The crazy thing was the edition sold out within a single day. In Europe, it was supposed to launch in 2020, but was delayed until 2021, when you could finally buy it in Germany too. You could buy it in Germany until 2024. You can still buy it, but through US imports, so not this European version. In total, 430,000 units have been built so far. In Germany, I read that it was registered 344 times in 2022. So it's actually quite rare. Now let's get to this rare piece here. As I said, the base is a Wrangler Jeep and a Wrangler Unlimited Wrangler. That means they just made it longer. The wheelbase was extended by 50 centimeters. Now we have a wheelbase of 3.5 meters. This Unlimited Wrangler is also a 4-door, just shorter. Jeep thought, cool, let's make a massive pickup. And it really is massive. As for the dimensions, depending on which version you are looking at, it's actually, well, about 1.9 meters in height and 1.8 meters in width. That's exactly what it measures, just so you know. The US imports that you can still get, they have a wider axle. So the European version is narrower in terms of the axles. I don't think it looks quite as cool. The US version is just a bit beefier, but Jacob's Jeep is also that beefy. As you can see, it's been heavily modified. And I would say, let's start a little bit at the front. Then we'll move to the back and let's look at the front. Really beefy because my buddy Jacob rebuilt a lot of it. It only looks this beefy because it has a different bumper on it specifically, the one from Mopar. The original bumper actually goes up to here and is really thick and fat. But this here looks really like a proper off-roader. So, and then we have the small details that actually make the car special. What did Jacob do? He took the turn signals here. They're usually orange, they're black now. All the silver parts, that means here in the headlight, everything painted black. The grille here painted black. The bumper is also painted because it's actually a steel bumper and those start to rust, so it was completely reworked. So now just look at that beefy front end. As I said, it's actually 1 meter and 9 centimeters tall, so that's the height. The car's ground clearance is 285 millimeters. The wading depth is 760 millimeters. That means with this car, you can drive through any body of water without a problem. It just handles it exactly. So in terms of trim levels, there were several 445 variants. First, the Sport. The Sport was more focused on functionality and had 17-inch rims. Then there was this Overlord, which had 18-inch rims and a larger display inside. Then there was this Rubicon, which had a different axle and a locking differential. It was intended more for off-roading. And finally, there was the Mojave. The Mojave is more for the desert with a reinforced axle and for faster driving in the desert. So engine-wise in Europe, there was primarily only the 3.0-liter diesel. Later on, you could also buy the gasoline version. The gasoline engine had 285 horsepower and 350 Newton meters. The diesel that's in here has 265 horsepower and 600 Newton meters. The diesel engine, Wait, we have to take a quick break now. Our colleague is driving past again and by. So exactly engine-wise, the popular 3.0 liter diesel was available. It's actually a Fiat engine. It was also used in the Lancia Thema, in the Maserati Quattroporte. And then all those American cars, the Wrangler, all the diesel engines were installed in those. As we mentioned here, we've done a major conversion. What else did Jakob do? He got rid of these 18-inch rims and said, yeah, no, they just don't fit. He ordered the car arrived, and right after that he ordered these 18-inch fuel rims from America. Tires are 265, oh no, my mistake, 275, 65, 18. So just wide, and it looks much more massive if you ever see the car on the street in its original state. I'll show you what the original rim looks like. The car just looks narrow, but with these rims it just looks massive, just like a man's car. What else did he do here? And indeed, everyone lowers their car. And this is the first time that Jakob has lifted his car by 5 centimeters. He installed a different suspension, basically, so that it no longer has that wedge shape at the front. Because in the original version, it stands a bit wedge-shaped. And he said, no, he doesn't like that. He wants to drive around looking beefy. The back is still original, but it's almost never loaded at the back. So that's why it's all one height, and then it fits. What else did Jakob do? These are such small things. Oh, now the Porsche is being started. I hope our video won't be disturbed now. What else did Jakob do? Such small things. And indeed, everything that was silver here, for example, is also kept in black. What does he have here? This protection, this window deflector. That just makes the car look lower and just like a Hummer H1. Small, flat, so wide, it looks really cool. Otherwise original, exactly, that's still original. So then, the rear rim is also a 9x18. Also 275, 65, 18-inch exactly. Yeah, the fuel rims, they really make it stand out in that color. It matches so well, green, copper, gold a bit, looks good. In Germany, it's limited, meaning the vehicle can tow 3.75 tons in America. But here, for example, it's limited to 3.5 tons. As a result, you have a lower towing capacity here. Payload in America, depending on the region, is up to 750 kilos. Here in Germany, it's a maximum of 600 kilos. So I think, depending on the equipment, on the variants of Overland or Rubicon, we have between 550 and 630 kilos of payload. Exactly. Let's come to the rear. The rear is original. He didn't swap the bumpers because he said there's nothing cool that you can install, and that also looks cool, so it's original. But I think the lights, they look really cool, like totally modern, just like a Jeep, cool. Let's come in here. A depth of 1.5 meters, a width of 1.4 meters. You can hear, fold everything up to the front. So fold it up completely to the front. Here, the wheel arches, the maximum width here. So between the wheel arches is 1.1 meters. But still, the loading area, look at it, so hardly used, as good as never used, I'd say. So let's come to the side again. That's the boss view. As I said, driving around with the car, you really feel, when I drove the car, you really feel like such a boss on the road. You just feel, you drive like a tank. I once sat in a Hummer H1, and that's how I feel in there too, because everything is a bit small and wide, like a little tank. So let's come to the side view again. Wheelbase, as we said, 3.5 meters. The original Wrangler Unlimited has the 3-meter one. It's 48 centimeters shorter. That's why it all looks so beefy. But when I drove the car, a turning circle, I thought, okay, it's not even that bad. It has a turning circle of 13.7 meters. Current Golf 8 has a turning circle of 11 meters. So in comparison, everything's cool, I think. Yeah, so let's come to the interior. As I said, not much changed in the interior, actually. Two things. The yellow belts, they were retrofitted by Jakob. That combines perfectly with the green color. It looks really cool. So, and then, as I said, a carbon steering wheel was installed here, which is actually a must for this car. The original steering wheel also looks a bit weird, but the carbon steering wheel, nice. Additionally, a subwoofer was added, and the original system is already a real blast. So original system, I'd say, respect to Jeep for installing such a great system, but that wasn't enough for Jakob. He said, hey, I still need some heavy bass. The funny thing is, Steffi, Jakob's girlfriend, she says, hey, the sound system, it's awesome. She's driven it a few times now, and it's actually a man's car. But the women, they're saying now, hey, this is the car. All the women I know who see the car, they say, hey, that's their car. Pretty cool, right? I get it too. Once you're sitting inside and driving the car, you have this feeling of power. You drive on the road like a tank, just like that. So the special thing about this car is you can take everything off. You can take off the doors, you can take off the roof up here, and even tilt the windshield forward. I'll show you a picture of what it looks like with everything removed. For someone who says, hey, I need a Jeep, I need a car I can work with, I need a car for everyday use and a convertible, then you just get something like this. Really cool idea, right? Weight-wise, it weighs 2.4 tons, including the driver. So the driver is assumed to be 75 kilos. So in closing, I can tell you something really cool, and that is Jakob said, hey, he wants to sell the car. If you want, you can also purchase the car yourself. It'll be on eBay Classifieds sometime soon. You can take a look at the car. Yeah, just type in Gladiator. Then you can check out the details, like how many kilometers and so on, right? Then I'm glad that you watched the video. I'd be really happy if you'd subscribe to my videos and just give it a thumbs up. Thank you.